Hi folks, welcome back. So today I'm going to be looking at another new tune. This one here started off as an introduction that I wrote. I've been messing about with just some new effects and some, little patterns and just doing a bit of sound design and experimenting with different sounds. And I came across this quite nice sort of drone sample effect here, which was part of the Apple library, and I matched it up with a drum pattern that I put together, and stored that away. That was saved as a possible intro that I could use for that I could pull if I was a bit stuck with any of my songwriting. It just it's good to just come up with ideas and save them so that you can try and use them again at a later date if nothing's happening with it at the time, which case. So it sounds a bit like this. So that drum pattern I just put together with the MIDI keyboard and then quantized it and just tweaked it around a wee bit so that it fitted. And I've layered on top of that some strings, for which I've been using the Play plugin, which is the player for the East-West library. So I've been using this 50-piece string section fast, although the strings are in quite high register, so it's not really making use of the full string section. But the string sections that have got a larger number of instruments tend to be quite full and sharp, so that's why I opted for those ones. So the pattern here that I put together is quite straightforward. It reminded me a little bit of SheWolf by David Guetta, just that it's the same kind of progression. SheWolf music. So together with the drums sound, it's a bit like this. Here's the bass string. So for the strings, here both of these are playing the same notes. It's just the ones all the way through, all the way to the right. It just gives it a wee bit more depth. It sort of pulls things around in the headphone, creates a bit more atmosphere, a bit more depth. The drum kits, I haven't done a lot of editing with it. Pretty straightforward, but I wanted it to be very much to sound like a real drum kit as opposed to the really produced dance kits that I've been using in the other set. Just gives it a really different tone. Of course I'm going for that 80s sort of sound, simple sound. So back then a lot of the drum samples would have been taken from real drum kits and then edited and compressed, produced, and had a lot of effects processed through it to change the sound. So although this isn't actually a live kit that I've recorded in, the samples have come from a live recorded drum keyboard. So that's the setup there. To try and put that sort of vintage sound on, I wanted to, I drew inspiration from Jean-Michel Jarre. I went to see him in October, and this particular sound that I've just loaded up here, but we riff that comes up, this is a sound that's based on Jean-Michel Jarre's laser harp. So that's been generated through this synthesizer that I downloaded. It's called OPX PR11. That was one I paid for, but it's a really, really great synthesizer. It simulates a lot of older synthesizers like the Roland Jupiter, Synthesizers that were really popular at the time, and very new at the time, and so many of the electronic pieces of music that were written in the 70s and 80s, they really were influenced by the technology at the time, and these are regarded as some of the best sounding, so that's why so many people use them. Unfortunately, really rather expensive to buy now because they have such a legacy. But you can download digital copies, which will never be quite the same, but you'll get the same sound for substantially less money. So this particular one here is an effect called Char Laser Harp. Perfect. That sounds like this. Familiar with Jean-Michel music, immediately will be ringing bells with you. So I thought, yeah, that's great. I'll use that. I'll put a little bit of that kind of vintage effect or sound design to this piece. So I've got here using a laser harp. So I quite like this piece so far because it's not quite so typical. I mean, although it's a dance piece, it sounds a bit more lively, it sounds a bit more fresh or acoustic. In terms of the fact that I've been using a drum kit that's based on a real kit, and using got all these extra cymbals which are real cymbal samples. And using these old synthesizer sounds, I think it just gives it a bit more of an almost live feel to it, even though everything has just been programmed in on the computer. So that's what I'm doing with this one. I need to take it further, obviously, but that's how we begin. So